We are here on Real Estate in the Lowcountry, and with me is Kate Thompson. Once again, her new name. I got to make sure I get it right.
Oh, it's so weird.
No, it's good though.
I like it. I know. Sorry, I haven't actually changed my name with the government, so that's a whole other
That's
story.
all right.
We're getting there.
In your heart, you're Thompson.
Yeah, it's getting there. I'm coming for you, Beaufort County. Sorry.
All right. Well, so anyway, we need to get into insurance. You're with Goosehead Insurance, of course. And so today we're going to talk a little bit about knowing your insurance company.
Yes.
Because it's really important to know what kind of a rating you have on your insurance. I mean, there's all kinds of reasons for that, but let's talk a little bit about the ratings in general.
Absolutely. I mean, doing your homework when you're buying your insurance policy should hopefully be done with the purchasing process with your agent and maybe your own research on its own. But when you're going through it and you're looking at things on your own, there's a few different rating companies and there's all kinds of confusion, which is why a lot of people rely on your agent to talk to things like that.
Right.
And I have learned that not a ton of people know about all of the rating systems. So we wanted to discuss that today.
Yeah.
But the most popular rating system that we do hear about that people do commonly know is AM Best.
Right.
That does rate sort of towards like the gold standard of size that we do see day to day. But then there are other companies called Demotech and other various ones that do rate smaller and smaller regional companies and markets. And Goosehead, we are only allowed to write with AM Best or Demotech A-rated carriers.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's really important because talk a little bit about what an A rating means. I mean, obviously it could go all the way down to being really bad, but what does an A rating mean? What does it mean for that insurance company that they're really going to have your back when you need it?
They're absolutely testing the financial quality of the company. So when you're buying coverage with them, you have to know, can they pay out on a claim? And as an A rating, like that does mean like stamp of approval. They have the financial backing and the financial stability to be able to protect at this time.
And let's talk a little bit about companies that maybe don't have that rating, but could be prevalent in an area, because right now, and as we've talked about so many times, we've had a lot of sticker shock going on.
Right.
And so people are shopping around and they might find something that's like, oh, this is a great rate. How can I go wrong? I'm going with this one, but maybe they are going wrong because it may not be as highly rated as another company.
Yeah, I mean, there are certain companies who have chosen to not be rated by Demotech and AM Best, which is it can be questionable. Like,
Right.
what are you hiding kind of question, right?
Right.
So we want to make sure that those carriers are doing their due diligence, and they can get rated by other carriers, but as of right now, not as well regarded as the AM Best and Demotech in terms of the sphere of the insurance world.
And I mean, it probably should seem obvious, but let's just really kind of state the obvious. What is a problem with going with a company that isn't rated?
I mean, at the end of the day, if you put your trust in them to pay out on a claim and then they go out of business and they do not have the financial stability to pay out on your claim,
Right.
that's tough. I mean, when you're paying thousands of dollars in most cases to have that coverage and that peace of mind,
Yeah.
it may not be there sometimes.
Yeah, and if they did shutter their doors, there's no recourse for a policyholder, is that correct?
It depends. Sometimes they can be rated and admitted by the state of South Carolina. If you're admitted through the state's Department of Insurance, you can go to the South Carolina Department of Insurance to claim their guarantee fund.
Okay.
But it is like a
long
extensive
process. Lots
process.
of red tape, right.
And listen, while we appreciate the government and all that they do for us, it does have complications and it's really time consuming.
Yes, for sure. And so let's talk a little bit about, we've talked about the ratings, but let's talk a little bit about, because a lot of people are going to be in renewals or maybe they're a first-time homeowner. Aside from the ratings, what are the other things that you're really looking for in a carrier that's going to make somebody really have peace of mind with their coverage?
Yeah, I mean, in all cases, we always try to go with an admitted company because of having that sort of in-place safety net.
Right.
Because that does have, I mean, it's at least something, right? We're non-admitted markets that we do work with a lot on Hilton Head right now are sort of Wild Westing. They're doing their best, and they do cater their market specifically to rate for the area that they're in, so that way they don't have an out of business problem.
Right.
Most formally is Lloyd's of London. They've been around for over 100+ years and thankfully have never had an issue, so they know what they're doing, right?
Right.
But try to write with admitted when you can, and then there are non-admitted who do not necessarily have all of those standards. So if it's a primary home and you meet the criteria, we try to go with admitted all the time, but then we have other recourses if necessary.
Well, it's always a pleasure to see you, Kate. You guys always give such great information and so much to think about. We really appreciate your expertise.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. you.